Yeah.
One more for one.
Sure.
Okay. This meeting of the Board of Directors of the Santa Fe Regional Emergency Communications Center is now called to order. In the absence of our chair, Sheriff Mendoza, the board needs to appoint a temporary chair to run this meeting.
Do we hear any motions to nominate anyone to?
I nominate Chief Joy.
Oh, I was gonna nominate Chief Moya as former chair. Understands how this operates.
Well, I suppose Chief Moya made the nomination first. Chief Joy, do you accept it?
Sure.
We need let's do a roll call vote because we have some members online.
Okay, should we do a roll call?
Vote on having Chief Joy
Okay.
run.
So we, Chief Joy,
Sure.
Chief Moya,
Yes.
Chief Black,
Yes.
Manager Scott.
Here.
Thank you. We're calling over, we just appointed or nominated Chief Joy to run the meeting today, so this is what the vote's about. Okay, so then Manager Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Wheeler,
Yes.
the motion has been approved.
Traitors.
It only took you 3 years to be the chair.
Okay, now I will go ahead and call roll for this meeting. Sheriff Mendoza is absent. Vice Chair, Chief Jimenez is absent. Chief Joy? Here.
Yes.
Okay, Chief Moya,
Yes.
Chief Black?
Here.
Manager Scott?
Now I'm here.
Thank you. Manager Schaefer?
Here.
Member Wheeler?
Here.
Mr. Chair, there is a quorum present.
The first item on the agenda is
The agenda.
approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Do a all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. All right. On. Get the thing here. I'm an old man. All right. All right. Do we have any matter with the public comment?
Mr. Chair, you, I will to the minutes.
So far, approval of the minutes, all right. Approval minutes.
We need to regroup. Let's start over.
Yeah, Steve. You can't see it.
I'll make a motion to approve the
All right,
minutes
all
for
right.
the
Second.
Second.
Mr. Chair, if I could, this is Greg Schaefer speaking. On page 6 of the minutes, I would just recommend the following changes under staffing, assessment, and recommendations. I think there's a stray bullet, and I think that it should reflect that the recommendation. So what I'm proposing to add is the following: an additional 20 telecommunicator positions be created and staffed over time. So again, those two words over time would be added at the end of what is the first sentence. And then 3-tier approach, as presented, the minutes have 3 dots after that. And in lieu of those 3 dots, I think it should be 3-tier approach as described in the report and presentation. So I don't know if the maker and the seconder would accept those as friendly amendments to their motions, but that would be my respectful request.
I, as the maker of the motion, would accept those suggestions, changes.
Do you have a second for it?
Second.
All in favor? The amendment?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. To matters of public comment. Here, anyone online? Action items. Item A, approval of modified recommendation. Modified recommended RECC FY26 budget and contributions. Director Levon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We're going to share so those virtually can see what we have here. So we did present a budget that was more costly last meeting. We were able to reduce it. We refined some of the quotes, and it did cut down the budget. So in the fund summary, if you're looking at what was presented on the right-hand side, we had a total budget operational capital of 7.530092. We were able to reduce that after refining that server quote for the primary server and determining what exactly we needed significantly. So it's down to 6.772880 now. And if we move on to the to the next. Were there any questions on the, I'm sorry, were there any questions on the fund summary page? You could go to the revenue. So as you'll see, what was presented in February in revenue, we were at 3.130092. That's gone down to 2.372. And then in capital, we had presented in February 2.698115. We are now at 1.940903. And the main reason for that is the primary CAD server. We were able to refine that quote and reduce it significantly. So it is a reduction in requests for this coming fiscal year. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you all might have.
Any questions for Director Levon?
Were there any, go ahead, Manager Shaver.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Director Lujan. I was just curious, the significant change relative to the Motorola, I believe, no, the primary CAD server, I believe, was where the reduction was. I just want to make sure that we've accurately priced and scoped what it is that you need. It was, by my recollection, almost a about $700,000 change in terms of the quotes. So if you could just expound upon that a little bit, I'd appreciate it.
Thank you. So when we received the initial quote from Newcom, it was priced that high because they needed some more information or data on RECC and how much data we were using on that server. And I believe Public Safety IT Supervisor Jason Dixon provided that information, and they were able to determine that What they had quoted was not exactly what we needed, so that reduced the cost.
Thank you.
I like the number better.
Any questions or comments?
It's like a quarter of a fire truck, right?
There's a motion to approve.
It's Greg Schaefer. I would move to approve the revised recommended budget as presented, for ultimate approval of the partners with regard to their respective shares of operational and capital budgets.
I'll second the motion.
Vote on this. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Your position, any opposed? Done. Moving on, I think, since we have no actual chair here or the vice chair, can we table this until the next meeting?
That would be at the, Mr. Chair, that would be at the pleasure of the board. You also can take action on that item today. You have a forum.
I think can we have Mr. Chair, can we have a discussion about that?
Sure.
Because me and Roberto talked and we've been pinging between sheriff and city fire. So I think we need to have a more broad conversation of, is it you go to the city this year? And we can, between me and Chief Joe, we can have that conversation, and the next year it can go to the county between Jacob and the sheriff. I think that when Jackie Lindsay left, we kind of pinged it to me and it stayed there. So we've kind of made this. For the bylaws, it says it has to switch between all four of us, but when Jackie left, it went to me and then it never left. So I think we have to figure out that in our bylaws, because right now it's supposed to come back to me.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, that's correct. Chief Moya, but with the way we've read this provision of the bylaws, it says the board of directors shall annually elect one member to act as the chair of the board, alternating yearly between a city and county representative and a fire and police representative. And you're right, if you read that literally, it literally would just come back to you because we just had a county law enforcement as chair. But we've been reading it as just that it needs to alternate between a city and county member. And that the provision about it being a fire and police representative is just to say that no manager member can be the chair of RECC. But you are correct, it is just going to go back and forth between fire and police, between and county.
Sheriffs and city fire, yeah.
Right. So at this point, it would seem that Chief Joy as.
That works fine with me. That was yourself.
But if you'd like to, if the board would like to table it until the other members that are absent today are present, that would be at the pleasure of the board on a motion.
Mr. Chair, I think the other question is, do we have Edgewood will be here next meeting? Do you think Edgewood will be back?
Chief Moya, Chief Jimenez is retiring effective March 28th. So I don't know what their plan was, and I wasn't here when Lieutenant Lovato was nominated to be acting on the board. So I don't know if that's what's going to happen again, or if that is allowed to happen again. Have to ask Jonas.
Who is Lovato? I'm sorry.
So when I came in as interim director, Lieutenant Lovato from the Edgewood Police Department was serving on the board.
Oh, I
He used to be the chief of police, because at that time I don't think they had a chief yet.
He was acting
He
as
was the
interim
interim
chief. Yeah.
Interim chief in that position
Correct.
for Edgewood, and so he was on the board. I see. Well, I suppose we'd have to take up that issue when Chief Jimenez is absent. So he's not going to be at the next meeting. Well, we'll have to see if Edgewood sends someone. They send to the next meeting. I know that the pleasure of the board has been to appoint someone from Edgewood as vice chair. And so that may be another reason why it may be a good idea to table it until we see who from Edgewood is going to. The board would like to appoint that person.
I think that's what I would prefer, at least until we have all parties, someone from the sheriff's office, not the sheriff himself, someone to represent, so we're not making decisions on their behalf.
Mr. Chair, Manager Schaefer has his number.
Manager State, sorry.
Oh, again, I defer to the, to the will of the group. But I was going to move that Chief Joy be appointed as RECC Board Chair. And given the uncertainty surrounding, the town of Edgewood situation, I was going to move to appoint Chief Black as, the vice chair. But again, if the pleasure of the board is to wait until a future meeting, that's fine with me as well. But I think relative to the chair, at least, I understood Chief Moya to be politely saying that it's Chief Joy's turn.
Manager Schaefer, I second that.
Feeling a little taxed. Well, meetings to not skip. Well, like I said, Manager Schaefer's motion is on the floor.
And there's been a second for that motion. Yeah, motion to vote on.
Wonderful. Roll call. or-
Unless there's more discussion on that motion.
Didn't sound like it.
I just think it gets us back on track to our situation where we rotate every 4 years, one of us gets it. So I think it just puts us in the right state of mind moving forward, especially with Chief Joy. He's doing a great job already.
Yeah.
You ready for a roll call vote?
Sure, let's take a roll call, but we can do it individually, I suppose, this time.
Okay, so Chief Moya,
Yes.
Chief Black,
Yes.
Manager Scott,
Chief, Joy's city manager endorses that motion, yes.
Manager Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Wheeler,
Yes.
and Chief Joy.
Sure, yeah,
The motion has been approved.
yeah. All right. Leaving. Okay, so moving on, that is all done. We have no presentations. So moving on to matters from the RECC director.
Thank you. So I'll present the public safety report for the month of February. We have 11 vacancies right now, but we will be dropping down to 10 vacancies starting next week when we have a experienced dispatcher returning to RECC. So we're excited about that. And again, we'll only have 10 vacancies starting next week, so that's exciting. Total telephone calls handled, 26,111. Total telephone calls received via 911, 5,904. Telephone calls received via 988, 8. Santa Fe County calls for service that were required a responder to be dispatched, 6,309. City of Santa Fe calls for service, 7,839. And the town of Edgewood calls for service, 695. Of those 911 calls that were received, we answered 91% of those calls within 0 to 15 seconds, which is an outstanding job by the staff. They are required to do that per the National Emergency Number Association standards. So we're trying to make sure that we stay within 90% or higher. So they have maintained that for the past few months, and it's good to see. The reason I wanted to talk about the numbers a little bit as well is just to emphasize, and I've done this before in the board meetings, is it's about 14,857 calls that were actually dispatched, where a responder was dispatched, but 26,000 calls came into the center. So that means about a little over 11,000 of those calls were received at RECC, but not necessarily for RECC. So again, I just want to work together to try and identify a way we can educate the public and perhaps maybe implement a type of phone tree that would guide the public to the correct number when instead of just calling dispatch as a failover when they can't find what they're looking for. We have to get time calls to reach the courts, to take messages for responders that are out on the field or on their days off, and other non-911 emergency related items. So I just wanted to emphasize that. Thank you.
And Director Lujan, the discussion about a phone tree and updating the services and technology around that. Is that being discussed in our technology subcommittee?
They just had their introductory meeting 2 weeks ago, so that we can add that to the agenda as well.
That'd be interesting to look into. Anything else, sir?
That's all, sir. Thank you.
Okay. And matters from the RCC.
I have no matters to present today. Thank you.
All right. Including business. Open it back up for comment before we shut down. Anyone have any topics not discussed?
Mr. Chair, I think we skipped matters from the board as an agenda item in case there are any matters.
I said it out loud, just didn't add to the formal thing, so rephrase this, matters from the board, anyone? Member Wheeler, you make sure you have your opportunity.
I'm fine today.
Okay. All right. Wonderful.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Hold on.
Andrew Schaefer, sorry, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to make sure that the board was aware that we are exploring with the Rio Arriba County Espanola E911 Center an assessment of how collaboration all the way to potential consolidation might work relative to our centers. Obviously, any such decision along those lines would require ultimate approval of the entire all the partners on both ends. But I wanted you to know that we were at least exploring how that might look as we continue to analyze ways to potentially expand the partnership in ways that allow us to provide an even greater level of service to our community. So again, nothing that we could do unilaterally, but I did want to be transparent and open about the fact that that is something that we'll be discussing with our Board of County Commissioners in terms of funding such an assessment. It would likely use federal engineering, but again, I wanted to be transparent and open about that, as that would be something that could potentially come back to the board as an assessment, but then ultimately to all of the partners of the JPA to assess whether or not such larger regionalization might have benefits for all parties involved. That's all. Thank you.
How is E911 different from what we're operating under now?
What can you, I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, where did you?
Schaefer was mentioning E911.
Oh, well, Rio Arriba, I believe, still calls their center E911. That was a term used for enhanced 911.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's not something that's.
I know we had looked at it many years ago, and I know there was compatibility issues in regards to what their system was and ours, and so sure that'll all come out in the wash here as we look at it to see how it actually interact with one another. So maybe they're a little bit outdated in comparison to us.
Thank you, Member Wheeler. Yes, I'm not sure. I know a little bit about the equipment that they use, but I do know that it would take some sort of analysis, and we'll have to wait to see how we can match those systems. And there's a lot of options for consolidation. We have to look at those. There's a hybrid where they could still keep their office where they're at, but we would still work together to help each other out with receiving the calls. There's just many options we have to study. And
Member Schaefer, anything else, sir?
No, thank you. Again, as Director Lujan said, a lot of options will be looked at, and ultimately, that would require all partner buy-in. But I just wanted you to hear it from me first. That's all. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right. For anyone else? Chief White, here, you good? All right.
Well, just, Mr. Chair, we would like to thank City Manager Mark Scott for joining us for our first meeting. So thank you for being part of our team.
thank you.
And this is my kind of meeting. It's 9:25. I admire your brevity.
I can't promise it's going to be managed or run any better than today, but it's all downhill from here. See you, sir. Right, with that, we'll conclude. We don't need to take a vote on that. All right, so we will adjourn. Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Market traders.